The red live indicator glared across millions of television screens as the camera panned to the opulent studio of the National Exchange, the most watched political talk show in America. Host Devin Blackstone, a smugly neutral figure known for stoking ideological warfare in prime time, leaned forward in his leather chair. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced with a grin, "today's debate will be one for the history books." On one side of the studio sat Candace Owens, dressed in a razor-sharp white blazer, her expression a blend of poise and warning. On the other side, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her searing rhetoric and unwavering calm under pressure, wore a simple navy suit but carried a fire in her eyes. What began as a routine discussion about education funding and crime statistics quickly escalated into a chessboard of veiled insults and cutting barbs. Candace claimed, "Black America has been sold a lie by the Democratic elite, and people like Jasmine are its salespeople," prompting gasps from the studio audience. Jasmine, unfazed, replied coolly, "It's interesting hearing that from someone who uses her platform to sell fear to white billionaires while pretending to care about the community she walked away from." Devin interjected to cool the temperature, but neither woman flinched. As tensions simmered, a new topic emerged: foreign money in U.S. politics, and Jasmine reached for her trump card, a card Candace never saw coming. "I wasn't planning on going there," Jasmine said, folding her hands in front of her, her voice deadly calm. "But since we're talking about influence, let's talk about your influence, Candace." The studio fell silent. Candace tilted her head, a tight smile clinging to her lips, but her eyes narrowed. "What are you insinuating?" Jasmine leaned in, voice slow and deliberate. "You've been on the payroll of at least 2 international lobbying fronts disguised as think tanks, one of them tied to the Emirates." "I've got the filings." She pulled a folder from beneath the desk and held it aloft, then passed it to Devin, who hesitated before flipping it open. Candace's eyes darted toward her publicist offstage, who immediately began typing furiously on a phone. "That's absurd!" Candace snapped. "Those were speaking engagements, public, legal, and declared." Jasmine didn't blink. "And yet, shortly after those speeches, your rhetoric shifted. You started parroting anti-democracy sentiments, calling the January 6th hearings a witch hunt, and pushing for economic decoupling from NATO allies. Coincidence?" Devin was now reading portions aloud from the folder, quoting invoices, bank wires, even an encrypted email reference. This is explosive," he muttered. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Candace stood up abruptly. "This is a smear campaign. You're throwing dirt because your policies are a disaster." But her voice had cracked, not from rage, but from something far more dangerous in live television: fear. What followed was not a debate, but a disintegration. Candace, usually the master of the verbal arena, began lashing out in fragmented tirades, attacking Jasmine's record, questioning her loyalty, her education, even her hair. "You play the victim while your city burns under your watch," she yelled. Jasmine remained seated, steely and composed, letting Candace unravel on national television. Devin leaned away slightly, clearly unsure whether to intervene or let the ratings explode. Then Jasmine stood up, not to fight, but to finish. "Here's the truth, Candace," she said, turning directly to the camera now. "You've become a puppet. A loud, well-dressed, articulate puppet. They paid you to sound smart while selling out your own people, and you did it gladly. But tonight, I cut the strings." Candace tried to laugh, but the sound fell flat. "Nobody believes this," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else, but the audience, both in studio and across the country, was watching her spiral. As Jasmine walked back to her seat, Devin received a note from his producer. "We're being flooded with FOIA tips and documents. Viewers are sending verified receipts," he murmured, mic still on. Candace turned slowly, hearing it. Her facade shattered. "You don't know what you're doing," she said to Jasmine, her voice suddenly low and hoarse. "These people don't care about you. They'll chew you up and spit you out just like they did to me." It was the closest thing to a confession she'd ever uttered. The final moments of the broadcast descended into chaos. Protesters had gathered outside the studio. Twitter was on fire. Congress members were texting Devon's team asking for footage. Candace's own team began packing up silently, eyes averted. And then, as the show prepared to cut to commercial, Jasmine made her move. She stepped forward once more, holding up her phone. "Since Candace mentioned victimhood, let me be clear. I don't play victim. I play for justice. And I've just received confirmation. The Department of Justice is reopening an inquiry into the foreign lobbying activities of multiple media personalities, including you." Candace's mouth opened, but no sound came out. A siren blared in the distance. Real or imagined, no one could say. Jasmine turned to Devon, then to the audience. "I didn't come here for a fight. I came to drop the truth." She walked off the set, cameras still rolling. Candace remained frozen in place, a woman watching the empire she built collapse in real time. And then came the final blow. Not from Jasmine, not from Devon, but from the control room itself. As the credits began to roll, producers aired a brief clip, pulled live from Candace's mic during a commercial break. Her voice, unguarded and raw, saying, "They told me if I didn't follow the script, the money would stop. What was I supposed to do? I've got a family." The screen went black. America was awake.